Hey guys, this is not scripted or anything. I just wanted to kind of ramble on a bit. I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I'm kind of just wanted to express my thoughts on it. But I mean, the title will probably be related to something like what I'm about to say, but just the power level of the game. If I guess an easier word, if you don't understand power level, I guess just more like the strength of the game and why everyone is so strong. I feel like one of the things with going into these further seasons, especially the introduction of Wild of Soul at the start of season 3, because it opened up a whole new like a lot of possibilities for different characters, especially like one to name would be like Milia, for example, right? And then you had, season 4 where it was getting called the Mickey patch, the DBFZ patch, right? Why'd the DBFZ devs get on this patch, right? So I just want to talk a bit. It feels like, honestly, we come from, oh man, like, season 1, obviously it was like Soul, the GOAT, is just like kind of stomping over everyone at first, right? And then you had Leo, who was also up there. Mei was strong, Nago was strong, but Soul was the dominant character. I think we could all agree on that. Definitely the Soul, Leo, Nago were definitely like the dominant characters of that patch. And then Happy Chaos came along and the game turned for the worst. He was like the strongest character like ever, one of the strongest characters in fighting game history. I mean, that character was absurd. I believe by this time the video's out, the Happy Chaos video I put together should be out, so go check that out. Sorry to promote. But and then we move forward. We had the Happy Chaos Nago Ram arc, right? And that was pretty much a thing until like obviously Happy Chaos for like until the start of season 2, or I guess like June patch 2.5ish around there. Was that 2.5? No, that was the start of season 2. Sorry. It's been so long. But, Happy Chaos was on his reign of terror for a while, where he was just 10 tiers above everyone else, right? Most dominant character. And then we moved to, like, a while. Like, a really, really long time, we had that Happy Chaos, Nago, Ram arc, right? Where it was just those 3 characters mainly. And I feel like for a majority of this game's lifespan, a lot of characters have just been ignored. Like, they just weren't relevant. They couldn't fit in. They had tools, but they just lost to those. They got invalidated by those characters, so it just didn't work, right? We kept moving forward, season, we got into later parts of season 2. You saw rise from characters like Chip, who at one point was actually considered, some people thought was the best, which I disagree. I think it's always just been Happy Chaos for the most part. But, Chip was up there, but then you still had Nago, you still had Ram, you had Leo. You started seeing some other characters kind of creep in, but not really. Like, it was mainly just them. Happy Chaos, Ram, Nago, Mei, Chip, right? And then it was kind of like every other character was. I'm sure I just forgot some character that should be on there, but I don't really have anything pulled up. Again, this is kind of me just speaking. But it feels like as we've gotten farther along, the game has progressed. We're just at the point where it seems like there's a presence in every character. I didn't even talk about season 3. Let me talk about season 3 a bit. So for season 3, the meta was obviously Orange Wild of Soul characters at the start. Orange Wild of Soul was absurd. The video on that should be up as well. Sorry to promote. Go check that out though. We had characters, basic Shotos like Kai going from whatever to top 5 just from Orange Wild of Soul alone. Characters crushing on it, new possibilities being made, characters like Milia, characters jumping up the tier list because of Wild of Soul. Gold Lewis the name. I already said Milia. It showed how higher health, higher HP characters. It was, season 3, I think out of all the patches is like everyone hates season 3. I think everyone just hates Wild of Soul, and that's why the devs have literally nerfed it every single patch, and it's still really, really strong. But even at the season 3, we still pretty much had the same characters, right? Some got nerfed, like Chip is the character that definitely fell out, but then you still had Ram at the top. Oh, I forgot Soul, dude. I forgot, sorry. Season 2, Soul was also really strong, sorry. Soul's always been strong though. He just wasn't Happy Chaos. But sorry, let me keep going now. But yeah, no, you had Soul and Kai were up there, right? You had Nago, you had Ram, you had Happy Chaos, of course, right? Leo was up there. It's, again, same kind of, like, same characters, right? Asuka was introduced. Asuka obviously is a harder character, more technical. But, it took a while for people to kind of realize his strength. And then, as time went on, the argument for him being up there was made. right? If we could go back in season 2.5 and everyone had the knowledge of Asuka and already knew everything, right? Those people went back in time. You know, he would probably be in that top 5. Like, the character was absurd. One of the strongest characters in this game's lifespan when he was released. But anyways, okay. It seems now we arrive in season 4, right? Let's skip all the other stuff. We're now in season 4. We had some surprising changes, like Anji, a character who was nothing, is now one of the best characters in the game, right? We have Johnny, who's a new character, right? We have Slayer, who's a new character, right? We have all these characters. We have characters getting nerfed, like we have Ram getting nerfed, right? Gold Lewis getting nerfed, you know? So it's like it feels like every character can win, and therefore the power level has just risen. There's still some absurd characters, like, you know, the best character in the game right now. Some people think it's this guy right here. You can argue that it's like Pot. You can argue it's Nago. You can argue it's Mei, right? You can argue some different characters. Obviously, opinions change. But as we've gone on with time, it feels like there's a lot of characters are in the same bubble of strength. I believe you have your top tiers who, you know, you can kind of like, okay, if I were to say the top tiers, in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, you know, you would have characters like Johnny, Nago. You know, you would have characters like Happy Chaos. You would have characters like Pot, Leo, Anji, right? Characters like that. But even those characters, they're not too far from the tree from like the other characters. Like, in fact, they're really close to the point where there might not even be a top tier. Oh no, okay, there is gonna be a top tier. There is a top tier, but they're not even too far from the other characters. And I think the main point, and sorry, I'm just saying it now, but I think the main point of what I'm trying to say is it feels like throughout the patches, this is the closest that any character has been to like the top tier characters. I think in the patches with Happy Chaos at the top with, you know, Nago and, you know, Ram, those characters at one point felt like 5 tiers above everyone else, right? We've lived in times where characters have literally just been in God tier, where everyone else was just like, why would you even waste your time? To the point where it's like, why would you even waste your time picking this character, right? I truly think, regardless of how strong your character is, whether you're sad they got nerfed or you're happy they got buffed, this is like the time that anyone can pick a character and truly do it. You know, from the weakest characters throughout this game's lifespan, all the strong characters are still really strong, that have been strong, besides Asuka. Asuka is like pretty bad right now, right? I think the main point, or one of the main points, the difference, as I was saying, from the past seasons with, you know, the metas of like Chaos, Nago, Ram, is the power level from those characters was nerfed and kind of toned down a bit, and then spread to the rest of the cast. And now we're at this point where, like I'm saying, where every character can essentially win. It should always be a good thing. Like, I don't think anyone wants to go back to those dark times. So I personally like it. But besides him, like characters that have been bad throughout, like that have been like lower throughout this game's lifespan, like Anji, he's at the top. Baiken, she's up there, right? Faust, really strong. Pot is broken. No, Gio's always been strong. Bedman, really strong right now. Elfel, absurd, right? Milia, well, I guess she was pretty strong, and she was strong and then she fell off, and now she's strong again, right? Testament, oh man, like really, really good. You know, and then you have the DLC characters who are all pretty viable right now, like really, really strong, and except Dizzy, she's probably like the weakest DLC we have right now. Currently, she's arguably the worst character right now, I guess, but you know, you have characters, it seems like in that middle bubble, you have like, you know, is there that much of a difference between characters like Testament and like, let's say, Elfel? Is there that much of a drop off between, you know, let's say there's like the top tier. So for example, we have Johnny, Nago, Leo, Happy Chaos, I don't care. Anji, if you think he's up there. And I'm sure I'm missing someone like Mei, right? But, you know, besides those characters, like the tier beneath that, it's not that big, right? You have, you know, especially some of the, okay, you know what it is? I'm sorry. Sorry, editor. You know what it is? It's every character right now seems like they lose a matchup. And that is one thing that's really big. You know, characters being able to be countered with others. Like, for example, people are going to hate it. And I hate saying it too. But Happy Chaos loses some matchups. Like, you know, it's really hard to beat him. Like, once you know, even put it to use, it's really hard to have a consistent game plan versus Happy Chaos. But you can, there's characters out there that just do well in the Happy Chaos. You know, there's characters that do well in the Johnny, like Nago. There's characters that can fight Nago, right? There's characters that, you know, can beat, there's probably characters out there that beat Leo, right? There's characters out there that can, you know, beat Mei, like Anji, right? There's characters that can beat Anji, you know. There's characters that beat Pot, right? It seems like we're in this, everyone can, not everyone can fight each other, but no one is untouchable right now is what I'm trying to say. And I think that's the best thing about this upcoming season of, like, you know, season 4. I think we've lived in some dark times in the past and, you know, with season 3 and whatnot. So I think looking forward to, you know, characters, seeing more variety of characters is really nice. And I think this goes for online tournaments as well. I think in online tournaments, you know, outside of Happy Chaos being in every top 8, outside of, you know, with Jack, you know, Jack winning everything with, you know, you have like, or you would have like, you know, Krieg and Rio and Hazen and who else? Luke, and what other Happy Chaos clone am I thinking about? There's like, I don't know, right? It's outside of Happy Chaos being in every top 8, you know, you would see like, you know, you'll see Johnny's, who's also top tier. You know, you'll see a Testament, you'll see Amelia, you'll see, dude, you see a Zato, right? Shout out Poncho and Ed and Eddie. You know, you can see any character, right? You know, there's some we haven't seen. I haven't seen a Dizzy yet. You'll see Slayer, you'll see Gold Lewis, you know, you'll see Geo, you'll see Elfel, you'll see Bedman, you'll see Eno, right? Like, seeing all these characters is really nice. So I think it's really cool we live in a time where we're not just in the top 3, Ram, Chaos, Nago, clap it up, right? It's a little more interesting than that. Obviously, you know, or I guess, you know, there was times where, yeah, no, people, top 8s would literally just be the same people. So I think seeing it now that anyone can kind of shock anyone now due to the character strength being much more in line is very fun. But with the character strength being much more in line, that does mean the power level is higher, which is a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. I'm kind of curious to what other people think, but you know, having it's not a terrible thing. It's not. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, I think we're in the point right now where people can complain about a character that you would never think, right? They can complain about a character and they can be quote unquote bottom 10, but even then that bottom 10 character is really strong. Like, people could go Faust as bottom 10, but Faust is really strong. Like, that character is pretty, like, he's really, really strong. Zato is considered one of the weakest characters in the game, but even then, I think Zato is, like, pretty strong right now, right? I mean, people think Eno's weak, but Eno can put you in some pretty messed up situations, right? But Bedman, people might think he's weak. Bedman's pretty cracked, right? So it's cool to see all these characters, again, being played with the variety and everything else. It just depends on how you look at it. But personally, I like it. I just am worried with how the devs do patch this game. I don't want it to go out of control, because again, then you start spawning in super soldiers, and then like everyone is just absurdly broken to the point where, you know, but you know, again, this game's balancing is just a little weird. We don't know what the devs, they're so unpredictable, so we'll have to see. But yeah, that's kind of the end of my thoughts. I am curious to hear what everyone else says. I will end it off with this. There are some characters that are like lower tier, like low tier, that probably just cannot really do it. But like, what I mean to say is like, you have the top tiers. When you make a tier list for this game, there's not like 10 different tiers anymore. I think you have your top tiers. I think you have the characters that are in that floating bubble beneath the top tiers. And then you have your low tiers. Like, there's realistically only 3 or 4 tiers in this game. Like, it's not like 10 different tiers. It's not like, you know, 8 or whatever. It's pretty simple. Like, characters are strong and can do it. The characters I'd personally put in the lower tier, no, I'm not doing that. I won't say my opinion too much. But point is, there's probably only like 5 characters in that low tier. Maybe like 4, maybe even 3. Like, it's nothing crazy. But yeah, that's all for me. Sorry for rambling on, but thank you everyone for watching, and until next time, thank you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time.